So this morning's job I think is pretty similar to what I did yesterday. A little bit of clipping back, tidying up a few beds, just trying to keep on top of things a little bit. The job I'm actually going to is when the actual growing season gets underway, so when the grass is growing and the hedges are all growing and that, it does get a bit on top of me. So I find by going there at the moment, by going there through January and February, I can stay on top of it a little bit. I'm a pretty strong believer in, if I've got the work there and the weather is fairly okay, then I will go and do the jobs. I know sometimes this time of year it can be a bit of a struggle to, get out of bed in the mornings. It's dark, it's cold, it's wet. But I mean, at the moment it's just over 10, and this is probably about as good as it's going to get this time of year, really. I mean, we have had it before where it, might snow for the entire February type thing, and if that happens, then I will be at home, not doing anything. And I'd rather work at the moment if the weather allows it, so I can get those bills in, so I can, so that by the end of the month I've got something I can sort of look back and think, yeah, I earned some money this month, that's fine. I suppose it's like you've got to make hay while the sun shines. This is about as good as it's going to get this time of year. So yeah, I think if you've got the work there and the weather allows, then sort of try and get it done, because you never know. I think they even say we might get snow by the end of this weekend, and the last few years when it has snowed, and if we have sort of hard frosts afterwards, that snow can hang around for a couple of weeks. So I'd rather get a few jobs off of the list now, and if it does snow, I can just sit back and think, right, okay, at least I've done something over the last couple of weeks. Anyway, let's see what this job has in store for us this morning. Over the last few days it's been fairly dry, and I had sort of forgotten about the last 3 weeks or so of the amount of rain we've had. It has been fairly wet in my area. That made for this job to be pretty difficult going. I really just wanted to try and break up the top layer of soil over the top of this flower bed, but it just made everything, it was so claggy, it was really, really sticky to dig. I also have a few friends that help me out on this job. The customer here has 6 chickens in total. Only 3 of them at the moment come and see me, and you can guarantee as soon as I get the fork on the go and these guys are over to see me, they don't miss a beat. As soon as I start digging, they are there. Excuse me. Similar to a lot of other gardeners, I use the customer's green garden waste dustbin to get rid of most of my garden waste. And unfortunately at the minute, where I work mostly in Oxfordshire, they aren't collecting any of the garden waste at the minute. I know over Christmas time and in January they do normally have a couple of weeks where they don't collect the garden waste anyway, but apparently in Oxfordshire there's an issue at the minute with the guys collecting the garden waste, and yeah, they're not coming for some reason, and this is starting to cause a bit of an issue where all my dustbins that I'm using at the minute are pretty rammed full. Obviously doing the old, jumping on the dustbins as much as I can, but they are pretty full at the minute. So not quite sure what I'm going to be doing yet. We're just bagging everything up at the minute and hoping that the dustbin men decide to come back soon and take away some of the rubbish, because I've got plenty of it for them. Unfortunately, in this garden, over the last couple of months, the worm population has dropped dramatically since the chickens' arrival. I do quite like having chickens in the garden. It makes it quite interesting, and they are inquisitive little creatures. I mean, I cannot pick up a fork in this garden without having all three of these chickens come running over towards me, and they do not miss a beat. They're not shy in the slightest. I constantly have to keep picking them up and moving them out of the way. How I've not stabbed a chicken with a fork yet, I don't know. I have said to the customer I will try my hardest not to skewer a chicken, but they are under my feet all the time. But I do quite like having them in the garden. They're quite interesting little creatures, but they are decimating the worm population, unfortunately. One of the worst things to hear for me as a gardener is when a customer tells me that they've planted a few bulbs in the garden or in the flower beds. This generally means that the customer has been out at the weekend and planted a fair few daffodil bulbs, probably about a centimetre under the soil, and as soon as you put the fork anywhere near the flower bed you find a ton of them. Now the customers here didn't do this. They inherited this garden, and there were already a million bulbs in this flower bed, especially this bit that I'm working in now. You may have noticed in the video, but there are absolutely thousands and thousands of daffodil bulbs, and they are all planted roughly an inch under the soil, not even that. And every time you put a fork in the ground you are finding one. Every step you're walking on them. I try my best. I do try and stay off of them as best I can. Over the last few years working in this garden, I have tried to relocate a few of them. Sometimes just got to get rid of them. But yeah, that is one of my pet hates, when customers take it upon themselves to plant a few bulbs, and yeah, there, planting them a centimetre down ain't going to do me much good. I'm just off to my next job today. I'm not going to do any filming at this one though. I'll probably film this one in a couple of weeks coming up, and we'll have a look at what's going on at this one at a later date. Anyway guys, thank you ever so much for watching today. Take care, be good. I will see you next time.